Okay, so in the sequence, next speaker we have Ismaela Bawica and Elaine Apat. The title of presentation is Microfinancing Services to Income Steadiness Ads Received by Many Grocery Stores Owners.
So, good day, everyone, to my fellow presenters, to the conference organizers and invited speakers. I am Ismaela Bawica, the presenter on our research entitled Microfinancing Services to Income Steadiness as Perceived by Mini Grocery Store Owners, together with my co-author, Ms. Elaine Apat. So, according to Honey, 2010, the interaction of various institutions and markets within the stability or income stability, the financial inclusions alters the financial systems, make up in terms of transactions, clients, services, and access points. So this development either create new risk or stacks that tend to cause financial stability as competitive failure of microfinance institutions, considerable impact on the frameworks. The materials and methods. This study was conducted to oversee the microfinance services and its perceived effect to the income steadiness of the said business. With these materials and methods, this is a descriptive research and used convenient sampling technique and was limited to registered mini grocery stores in San Pablo City and a beneficiary of loan from microfinancing establishments. Researchers choose 200 loan holders and mini grocery owners along San Pablo City. They distributed the questionnaires by asking different barangay officials to help them visit different grocery stores in their locale. The structured survey questionnaires were made, validated, and distributed to the respondents and retrieved only 150 of them. Point Likert scale was used to determine the income steadiness of the mini grocery stores. Also, frequency count was used to determine the profile of the respondents, while mean was used to measure the perceptions of the respondents as to the microfinancing services and their income steadiness. And finally, Pearson R was the tool that was executed in computing the relationship between microfinancing services to the income steadiness of mini grocery stores. So with the results and discussions as to perceptions of the respondents as to microfinancing services in terms of accessibility, the overall mean is 0.431 with the interpretation of strongly agree. With the terms and conditions of microfinancing, the mean is 4.18 with the interpretation of agree, and customer service with the overall mean of 4.30 with the interpretation of strongly agree. And next is the income steadiness of the mini grocery store. As to profitability, the overall mean is 4.65 with the interpretation of strongly agree, and the liquidity with the overall mean of 4.74 with the interpretation of strongly agree. The results and discussion for the microfinance service versus income steadiness in terms of profitability. As to accessibility, we have the p-value of 0.19 with the interpretation of significant. Terms and condition with a p-value of 0.37 with the interpretation of significant, and customer service with a p-value of 0.10 with the interpretation of significant. So as to the relationship between the microfinancing services and income steadiness of mini grocery stores, in terms of microfinance services versus income steadiness, in terms of profitability, as to accessibility, The p-value is 0.19 with the interpretation of significant. Terms and condition with a p-value of 0.37 with the interpretation of significant. And customer service with a p-value of 0.10 with the interpretation of significant. And to microfinance service versus income steadiness in terms of liquidity. As to accessibility, the p-value is 0.496 with the interpretation of not significant. In terms of terms and conditions, the p-value is 0.49 with the interpretation of significant. Customer service with a p-value of 0.17 with the interpretation of significant. So findings and conclusions. So after a careful analysis of the responses provided by the mini grocery owners, there is an indeed strong positive relationship between the microfinance services and income steadiness of the business owners. The services such as loans and insurance were certainly accessible to the clients, and the terms and conditions of the loans and repayment were flexible to them. In addition, the employees of the microfinance institutions customer service were appreciated by the business owners. They are accommodating, and microfinance institutions offers electronic payment transaction to limit their face-to-face contact with the clients. The requirements needed for a certain service offered is not a burden and easy to comply. Moreover, the business owners affirm that microfinance service allows their business to gain profit and liquidity. The microfinance institution services allows their business to manage their funds, costs, and assets. They help business owners to continue survive their business regardless of the pandemic. Then with the recommendations, microfinancing. Sorry. Then with the recommendations, microfinancing services are truly a great help to micro business owners. Hence, these people have ups and downs in their business just to survive the cost of living of the family and the business. The government has supportive and microfinancing institutions in uplifting the lives of the poor as well as to start up their business. So for deeper discoveries in these microfinancing activities towards entrepreneurs, the researchers recommend to have a larger scope of respondents concerning different services offered and clients. They believe that in overcoming the downfall of microfinance business due to COVID-19, further assistance from the government and improved customer service of microfinance institutions are necessary, such as continuous programs for long-term recovery, business loan plans, the training for income management, and financial literacy, also the credit and inventory management. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Lorena Garcia, for your nice presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.